Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to all of you to our first episode of Web3 and Beyond. My name is Kanwaljeet Singh. I am the AVP Sales at Blocktech Brew. Today we have Mr. Sukhchain Singh, our CEO, co-founder at Blocktech Brew, for the discussion. Welcome, Mr. Sukhchain.
Yeah, thank you, Kanwaljeet. It's great to be here.
Great. So, as we are talking about, the first episode and the fascinating world of RWA tokenization. But first, let's understand what RWA tokenization means.
It's the process of creating, digital tokens that represents ownership of the physical assets, like, real estate. You have commodities, you have arts, right? So even any kind of fine art. So these tokens are recorded on the blockchain so that it provides the more traceability, it provides the more transparency and assurance to the end users. So let's say if we are taking an example just to understand it in a better way, consider there is a painting and that painting value is like $1 million, right? So if you just go into the market, you will see a very few investors out there because, a very rich individuals or maybe institutions who's having those that much of funds, right? So only then they can, buy this. But, just to make it available for the audience, wide investors, so you can fractionalize this painting and make it available for the investors. Let's say if that painting costs you like $1 million, the costing of that painting is $1 million. So we are fractionalizing it into maybe 100 parts or maybe 1,000 parts. So each fraction will cost you $1,000. So it will be easy for the small investors to take part into the investment. So even rather than one person is investing and taking this whole painting, so there are 1,000 investors out there. So it will be easy for them to take part into it and they can hold the fraction of it.
In today's time, hear a lot about RWA tokenization, but there has been a new term introduced that says RWA Fractionalization. So what's the difference between tokenization and fractionalization?
Though these both sound similar for like most of the people, but there is a difference. So fractionalization is the first step. Like if you have, as we have already taken an example of that painting. So if you just want to divide or separate that bigger, the picture into multiple fractions, so you can divide that painting into multiple fractions. Considering the fact, like let's say you have a big pie and you are separating that big pie into small parts, right? Right. So this is the first part, and fractionalization is something that we can perform with the traditional system as well.
Understood. But how is it different from RWA tokenization?
Yeah. So first I had explained to you like the fractionalization. That is the first part. So let's say you did the fractionalization, as I told you, you can do it with the traditional system. But where it is different when it comes to this actually makes the difference when it comes to the tokenization, right? So when we are putting those fractions onto a blockchain in the form of token, so that it is available for people, so that they can go ahead and they can buy those fractions in the form of tokens, and those tokens will be available onto blockchain platform, and these are easily tradable, right? And it actually gives a more assurance to the people, because these all transactions are just being recorded onto a blockchain. We can simply retrace, we can see like where those tokens are available.
So having said that, as now we have the new term apart from tokenization, fractionalization, and now blockchain. So how does blockchain, use of blockchain enhances the process?
Yeah, see, whenever we are putting these fractions in the form of tokens onto the blockchain, this actually provides the the end customers or investors are more traceability, a more transparency, more accessibility, and more liquidity.
When it comes to fractionalizing assets, what's the best approach, using fungible tokens or non-fungible tokens?
Yeah, usually, Kamal, normally if we see, like, most of the people, they get confused because, when I take the call with most of our clients, they always, get confused whether we should need to go for fungible tokens or non-fungible tokens. But, to give the best answer onto this, I won't say like we should need to go for fungible or non-fungible only, but it all depends onto a different type of assets. Let's try to understand with the example. As I told you, like, this tokenization is available for real estate, arts, commodities, even the NFTs are something that you can further tokenize.
Right.
Let's say if I'm taking an example of real estate. So for that, I would prefer to go in for a fungible token. You know why? So there is a reason behind it. Let's say if there is a bigger real estate or a property, and cost of that property is $10 million. And just to make it easy and accessible for more and more investors out there, if I divided this whole property into 10 million fractions or tokens, right? So let's say if you own one token, it means you are also a participant into the same property. So let's say if one person is holding 1,000 tokens, other person is holding 10,000 tokens, third person is also holding maybe 1 million tokens out there. End of the day, so the value of these tokens will be derived from the property itself, real estate property itself. These tokens will not have any individual values. So even a person is having 100 tokens or other person is having 1,000 tokens, the token of value of each token will remain same. Right. So on the other hand, if we are, taking an example of art, and if you see a recent in the news, so Prince Charles, I think, unveiled the new painting, right? So let's say if we are taking example of that particular painting, so if we have to fractionalize that painting, so what we are doing is we are dividing the whole painting into small fractions. Every pixel, every area of that particular painting is divided into tokens. So in this case, I would prefer to keep it in non-fungible.
Okay.
Yeah, it will be a NFTs because each portion of that particular painting is having a different value.
Okay. So
right?
That means fungible tokens are standard assets and non-fungible token, that's the NFTs, are unique.
Yeah, so every part into that painting is having a unique value. So considering the part, let's say taking the example of again this Prince Charles painting, so maybe someone likes that ring from the same painting. So maybe I like that particular ring from that painting. So what I'll do is I'll just take that area only.
Okay, I'll buy that free.
Yeah. So initially, if the cost is, let's say, $1, and maybe I can go ahead and I can, do some kind of a marketing, and I can create some kind of a, air around it. So this is more valuable. So I can sell the same maybe in $5,000. So it doesn't mean that the value of the whole, all the NFTs will remain same. So maybe one part of it will be of more value, other part will have a less value. But every part is unique.
That brings me to the next question. As we are talking about, we are promoting investors. So, how can these physical assets be stored or, provide an assurance to the investors, especially in the case of real estate and artworks, as we are discussing?
Yeah, so this again, so let's say if you're taking an example of real estate, so there are legal documentation, different type of documentation is there, legal formalities are there. For this, there are different third party agencies or companies available. They actually give the same kind of assurance. They are authorized from the government itself. They keep a custody of all those physical documentation so that no one is just going ahead and forging it. Right, so those are the actual custodian of this. So on the other hand, if you're taking an example of any of the art, so then there are different type of vaults available. So they are also authorized. So they give the assurance to keeping it safe. They are completely insured. And they're keeping a complete control on it.
Okay. So trusted management and blockchain records are the key.
Yeah, right.
Thanks for the clarity, Sukhchain. So moving forward, you know, uh, why do you think someone should invest in RWA tokenization? To be precise.
There are three main reasons if you see about like investing into RWA. The first thing is the liquidity. The second thing is it provides you more accessibility. The third thing is the diversification. Now we have to understand it from two prospect. One is the seller, the owner of that real estate, with a real asset, and the second one is the investor. So if I just see it from owner point of view, so it gives them a more liquidity, it gives them a more accessibility. So going back onto the same example where I said like there is a art out there and the cost of that art is $1 million. So like finding a rich individual or an institute which actually can pay maybe $1 million, and maybe he don't want to lose a complete control out of it. So first thing is it is hard for him to find these kind of investors, right? The second is he will lose the 100% control of it. But on the other hand, let's say if he really wanted to take a benefit of this RWO, he can fractionalize it, right? And this will gives him a more accessibility to invite more and more small investors,
Right.
and this will provide him a liquidity. If we are thinking it from the investor point of view, so investors, there are a lot of small investors out there, retail investors out there. So it will be easy for them to invest into a multiple real world assets, and with the small amount of money. So this way, what they can do is they can invest their amount into multiple assets rather than investing into one asset all the time. So this will actually help them to diversify their portfolio.
So diversification is important.
Yeah.
Great. So talking about and discussing the RWA tokenization, it's future. What do you expect? Or I mean, let me rephrase. Where do you see the RWA tokenization market in the next few years? Where is it heading?
Yeah. So if you take my opinion, so I believe this is just a beginning. So RWA tokenization looks very promising, right? So recently I was just reading one article, and according to that article, that report was from McKinsey. And they claimed that by 2030, so the market cap of this RWA would be $4 trillion.
Wow.
Right. And there was another report out there from 21 shares. They claimed end of this decade, the market cap of this RWA will go beyond 10 trillion.
Right.
If you see in Switzerland, so there's an association with the name of Capital Market Technology Association, that is called CMTA. Has been created just to establish a Swiss standards for issuance of these security, especially for RWA. Right. So if we see all these activities are happening into the market, so we likely to see like more regulatory framework will be developed in the market, and I can see like there is a big future out there. More and more companies will come and they will invest into it.
So speaking of the industries, which ones do you think would be revolutionized by RWA tokenization?
So I believe like several industries stand to be revolutionized, right? So real estate obviously is one of them, right? So tokenization will make it affordable for more and more people out there, because as if you see like most of the people, they always prefer to invest into real estate. But nowadays if you see without this RWA, so it becomes really very difficult to invest into any of the real estate because of the high value of that real estate. So apart from that, if you see real estate to commodities, art, financial assets, infrastructure, gaming, entertainment, or even personal and financial data that could also be tokenized.
So now let's bring it home to Blocktech Brew.
Yeah.
How do our RWA tokenization service stands out? Any challenges faced by our clients, and why should businesses consider Blocktech Brew as their preferred partner?
Yeah, so when it comes to Blocktech Brew as a service provider, it's not like we take the inputs from the client and start working onto it. Though we work as a partner with our clients, so we provide end to end help to understand how this particular asset has to be tokenized, and help them right from the technical fronts to helping them to understand the compliances, regulatories, because we are already partner with some of the regulatory compliances companies, right? So they provide a legal help onto that. So right from scratch, understanding like what is their requirement, creating a complete white paper out of it, developing the complete solution, testing it, launching it, helping with all the compliances. So our Blocktech team will always be there with them, so working as a partner with them. So let's say if we are talking about the challenges to develop a real world asset platform, if you see, like, there are a lot of different jurisdictions, areas where they have their own regulatory compliances. So keeping in mind, like, we are doing the proper, we are integrating the proper KYC, anti-money laundering things inside the platform, and partnering with right legal advisors. So in case if we need any kind of help to integrate it within the platform. The second challenge is, like, most of the people, they always most of the clients, they always face challenge when it comes to the liquidity. So for that, what we do is we actually partner with third party liquidity providers, and we make them educate, like, if they invest into this, the kind of benefits that they will get on each trade happening onto the platform. So this is how we are helping them to get some kind of a liquidity on the platform as well.
That's fantastic. Before we wrap up, any final thoughts for our listeners who are considering diving into the RWA tokenization?
Yeah, for that I would say, like, don't hesitate to explore the potential of RWA tokenization, because this is new to everyone. I would advise, like, everyone has to stay ahead and see, like, what is happening into the market, how this tokenization is helping bigger companies or small companies to tokenize their assets, and doing it in a better way. New regulations are coming into the market, so everyone has to be stay up to the date to understand these kind of regulations and updates on RWA, and there is a big potential of this.
Thank you so much for such lovely insights. Sukhchain, it's been a pleasure connecting with you, holding the show.
Yeah.
And I'm sure our listeners would have taken a lot of information and a lot of confidence of how they should be taking the next step towards RWA tokenization.
Yeah. Thanks, Kanwal. Pleasure is mine. Yeah, I think it was a very nice discussion.
And thank you to our viewers for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, do subscribe and leave a review. Until next time, this is Kamal signing off from Blocktech Brew. Thank you.